closing ceremony. Thank you for joining us here at 10 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Nick Sturtevant. We're continuing to follow today's top stories, but first let's get a check in on the weekend forecast. The sun is back out after yesterday's heavy rains from Tropical Storm Debbie. You heard Chris over there in excitement. This is a live look at Lake Norman. A great day to be out there. And I want to bring in meteorologist Chris Mulcahy, who you can hear in the background doing the ad-libs. But Chris,
I'm just your sound man, you know?
It's night and day from what we dealt with yesterday, Chris.
And we got blue sky swing, as you can see across our skies, just some of those upper level clouds. That's the back end of what Debbie was, but good things happening. We're going to see sunshine through the course of the day. Slight chance of maybe seeing a thunderstorm a little bit later on. So what are you actually seeing from Debbie's impacts? We are done with her. We can still see some heavy rain that's now moving up through Pennsylvania and just going to have a tail end of the cloud cover behind it for this afternoon. All is well. Temperatures actually zooming back to 90 degrees, believe it or not. This is going to be the warmest day that we have over the next 7. By the end of the forecast, though, we will have a slight chance for a pop-up shower or a thunderstorm, especially the middle of the evening. There will be some thunderstorms popping up in the area, especially to the west and southeast of Charlotte. I'll show you that here in a second. Temperatures cooling down to about 79 degrees by evening's end. Here's your futurecast stopping in at 4 o'clock. That's where I think we see our first signs of a thunderstorm popping up here on the map, right around Burke County, Morganton, I-40, seeing a little bit more activity southeast of Charlotte. So Charlotte's dry in between, but any potential for that will be about mid to late evening. Keep that in mind if you have any plans. Weekend forecast looking good, mid to the upper 80s with the chance for a pop-up shower or thunderstorm. So back to normal for this time in August.
All right, thank you, Chris. Well, right now, we're learning one person is dead after a crash on I-85 this morning. Troopers shut down the ramp from I-85 north to Mallard Creek Church Road. Drivers are asked to find a different route. We have a crew on the scene and we'll update you as soon as we get more information. And this morning, we're learning a Gastonia boy has been missing for 3 days. Police say 11-year-old Lorcan Hester left with his dad on Tuesday. They were seen in this white car right there on your screen. Reports show Hester's father may have some cognitive issues. Now, if you have seen them or know where they are, you're urged to call the Gastonia Police Department. We're continuing to follow the Carolina Panthers' interesting arrival at Charlotte Douglas Airport this morning. While you were sleeping, a Delta Airlines flight went off the taxiway after landing, and it got stuck in the mud. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane has the latest on this story.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm standing here at Wilson Air Charter Center. That's where the Carolina Panthers came after they had that bumpy landing this morning as they returned from their flight to New England. Now, this all happened around 2:30 this morning. Panthers players were on a flight, that's Delta Flight 8860, when they were landing here at Charlotte Douglas International Airport. They landed, and as they were taxiing to the gate over here at Wilson Air, that's when their landing gear went off of the taxiway and into some mud and got stuck. You're looking at video of the emergency crews all around that plane. No one injured. Those passengers were able to then get on charter buses, and then they arrived back here at Wilson's Charter Terminal. Now you see these players getting off. Of course, at this time they weren't speaking to us, but we did speak with representatives of the Panthers who said that they are agreeing with the message that was sent out by Delta that said this incident happened. It was that landing gear, as I mentioned, that went off of the taxiway. A very strange morning for them after their game up in New England. That's the scene right here at Charlotte Douglas, which is part of Wilson Air. We'll send it back to you.
As we speak, folks across our area are assessing and cleaning up damage and debris from Tropical Storm Debbie. But one Gastonia mother and daughter cleanup is the least of their worries after a large tree destroyed their home. Elizabeth Combs says there was a loud crash and her doors swung open as the tree fell through. Thankfully, her family is okay, but now they have no place to go. The American Red Cross was unable to help because no disaster was declared, meaning no shelters were open, all while facing more roadblocks.
I have renter's insurance, and that's what it says on my lease. The landlord called and said it's not actually renter's insurance, it's tenant's insurance. So anything that's in the house that's destroyed, they're not responsible for. I just feel like a burden. I feel like there's nowhere to go for help.
And Combs is now reaching out to the community for help. To donate to the family, just find this story on WCNC.com. In Mecklenburg County, flooded areas and fallen trees continue to block several roads, and the damage may not be over yet. Officials warn more trees could fall in the coming days due to the oversaturated soil. The issues are causing headaches for thousands as the cleanup process begins.
I've contacted several attorneys and several contractors. Basically, they said that they can't fix the pipe because it's owned by the city. I'm just looking for some type of resolution or some type of fix to the issue.
And the good news, there have been no reports here locally of injuries or deaths from the storm. Well, right here on your screen, this is video from Monroe. Right now, first responders are cleaning up downed trees, power lines, and flooded roads. In one incident, a tree fell into a power line and then smashed the side of a car, trapping a woman inside. Thankfully, she wasn't seriously hurt. As we speak, hundreds of FEMA staff and federal partners are in North and South Carolina as well as Florida to help folks dealing with the impacts from Debbie. So if you have property damage, you might be wondering if you'll get help from the federal government. WCNC Charlotte's Megan Bragg verifies who qualifies for FEMA assistance after severe weather.
Guys, FEMA is required by law to ensure all help is given to those affected by a major disaster. With that in mind, a major disaster must be declared before FEMA offers any financial assistance. This is a named storm, and both North and South Carolina governors have declared this as a state of emergency. So we're looking at who can get assistance. And for this, we went straight to FEMA to get those answers. Now, the first question is, if you are a renter, can you get FEMA assistance? The answer to this is yes. FEMA assistance is not just for homeowners. FEMA may also provide help to renters who lost personal property or were displaced. We are also looking at this claim. If you have insurance, FEMA won't help you. Now, this is actually false. According to FEMA's website, if you have insurance, you can still apply for FEMA assistance, but you must file an insurance claim as well. And FEMA can't help with expenses your insurance covers. And the final claim that we're looking at here today is if you've receive a grant from FEMA, it has to be paid back. Now, FEMA says this is false, and in most cases, those grants do not have to be paid back. However, if you have insurance that covers temporary housing costs and FEMA gives you an advance on some money while your insurance is processing, you do need to pay that money back to FEMA. Guys.
New details out of Lincoln County this morning. A former East Lincoln High School soccer coach is behind bars on new sexual assault charges. Police arrested Maxwell Fletcher last week. The new charges come after the sheriff's office identified another victim. In addition to coaching, Fletcher was also a teacher at WC Friday School in Gaston County. Meantime, we're now learning that two suspects accused of killing a Charlotte man will not face the death penalty. Prosecutors decided not to pursue capital punishment for Asia Tapp and Detarian Neal. They're accused of killing 32-year-old Jonathan Dockery at a South Charlotte apartment back in June. Turning now to today's national headlines, we're seeing newly released body cam footage from the assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump. The video shows confusion and frustration in the moments before and after the shooting. Footage shows the moment two police officers spotted the shooter, but by the time they grabbed their guns and requested backup, the gunman had already been taken out by Secret Service. Officers at the scene then began raising concerns over the lack of communication. The Secret Service is now reviewing the footage so issues like this don't happen again. And this morning, we are also learning former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris are officially agreeing to debate. Both camps say they'll debate on September 10th. Meanwhile, Trump is proposing 2 additional dates. Harris says they can discuss future debates after the one in September. Returning back to the forecast. And again, I mentioned this earlier, Chris, we dealt with a lot of rain, some damage from Tropical Storm Debbie. Now the sun is out over Uptown, as we saw earlier. A good sight to see, Chris.
A good way to start the weekend. And one of my favorite sayings, Nick, is sunshine always follows rain. And it's definitely a testament right now. Check out some of our stats that we had yesterday. Yesterday officially was the wettest day of 2024. But it was actually the 14th wettest on record in Charlotte history. We've actually only had 21 times since record keeping began in 1878 that we've measured over 4 inches in a single day. That was yesterday, and that beat out the second wettest day, which was 2.5 inches by a landslide. Luckily, nowhere close close to the all-time record, which is close to 7 inches. This is also the 5th wettest day that we've ever had in the month of August, beating out the record that was back in 1952. Muggy meter today, you're going to be feeling it. That moisture from all that evaporating rain, you're going to be feeling it. So that air you can wear is going to be out and about. So that means the 90-degree point that we have for a high today is actually going to be feeling more like the mid-90s. Keep that in mind. This is going to be the hottest day temperature-wise and the hottest feeling day that we have over the next 7 days. And our dew point's still going to be flourishing through the weekend. They actually come down a little bit, feeling a little bit more comfortable by the end of the week. All right, all right. Temperature's also a little bit cooler at that point. As I mentioned, this is the top, and then we go to the bottom, and then we're here right to about that 82-degree point around Thursday, and then lower to the mid-Thursday, heading into middle of August. As far as our lows, less 70s, more 60s. So we are starting to see a gradual shift. It's actually this time of the year that our average 90 will start to fall to 89, then 88. Barely a change, but we are starting to head to the other side. That will be a cooler forecast about a month from now. Those flash flood warnings still exist further off towards the east, still lingering from what happened. You still see a lot of these green polygons that is representing outlines of different rivers and creeks that still are a little bit higher in their banks, so they still have that flood area advisory. And this little red box that you're seeing off towards the northeast up into Maryland and Delaware, it's actually a tornado watch box. So Debbie's technically not done with the potential that she could bring. At least she's done with us. Isolated storms possible through the weekend, a little bit more scattered on Tuesday. That's going to be a cold front that's going to try to cool us down. Thunderstorm potential, we're pretty much back to normal. We know how the Carolinas works. We like to get to around 90 degrees this time of year. It's humid, and then storms like to bubble up on their own, usually mid to late afternoon, sometimes into the evening. Same formula goes, so we're back to the usual script. No other twists and turns forecast, at least for now. You're seeing isolated scattered thunderstorms, I would say mid to late afternoon. A little bit better chance for some areas around Greenville, just outside of our area by the middle of the evening. Not a guarantee. Tomorrow's forecast, same thing goes. I think you have a better chance for an isolated thunderstorm during the afternoon, but a lot of us staying dry, high temperatures getting close to 90 degrees once again. Here's what it looks like on Saturday. Saturday morning, we start off fairly dry. Storms really start to bubble up right around 3 again. Coverage area is not super vast. I think it's a little bit more active from Charlotte down towards the southeast compared to the I-40 corridor. And for your Sunday, we do it again. Most likely, we're staying dry on Sunday. So if you want to pick a day to be outside, I think you should be storm free on Sunday compared to Saturday. Tropical development, this is still days away. This would be 7 days out, but we're looking at our next potential storm, and it's taking a similar path that Debbie did, and Debbie took a while. So I still think it's about another couple weeks till we're really talking about our next major storm in the tropics, but letting you know it's starting to heat up. Guy Roofing 7-day forecast, we're at the top 90, down to 82, the lower 80s on Wednesday and Thursday. Each day comes with a chance for an isolated pop-up shower and thunderstorm. All in all, a not too bad forecast, Nick.
I can't complain. I'll take it. Thank you, Chris. And as we head into the final days of competition, here's a look at the latest medal count. Team USA still dominating the overall medal count with triple digits, 103 podium finishes so far. China holds strong in second with 76 medals, and host country France is now in third, coming in just 3 points above Great Britain. And in about 2 hours, South Carolina native A'ja Wilson and the U.S. women's basketball team will take one more step towards an eighth, yes, count them, eighth straight gold medal. At 11:30, they will play against Australia in the semifinal. In the team's last game, Wilson scored 20 points, helping the U.S. defeat Nigeria. And as we speak, C.J. Nicholas is gearing up for the Taekwondo semifinals. Nicholas is originally from California, but now he trains right here in the Queen City. He won both rounds in the quarterfinals. This is his first Olympics. And Chris, can you believe it? 2 weeks in, we're at the home stretch of the Olympics, man.
Not to backtrack, did you see that basketball game yesterday?
I did.
Oh, that was heart-pounding.
We were all cheering, and the range of emotions we went through in the newsroom yesterday afternoon was just... Whew.
Yeah, and I'm happy for them. There's been a lot of great stories this whole entire time. And the best thing, Nick, is we still have some final matches coming up. It's going to be great, a lot of great games. I'm excited for breaking tonight. We got a lot to look forward to.
You might have to do a little break dance during the end of the show.
Nobody wants to see that.
Nobody wants to.
Nobody
okay,
wants
well, everybody will want to see the closing ceremony, because the closing ceremony Sunday will mark the end of the 2024 Olympics. WCNC Charlotte's anchor Ben Thompson connects the dots.
While we're really sad to say au revoir to the games, the closing ceremony is set to be quite the spectacle. Let's connect the dots. The ceremony will take place this Sunday, 2 p.m. right here on WCNC Charlotte. Jimmy Fallon and Mike Tirico are set to co-host the big event. Now, unlike the opening ceremony, the closing ceremony will be held at France's National Stadium, which is being transformed into a concert venue. More than 100 dancers will be featured, and world-renowned singers will perform. But organizers have been tight-lipped about who. One rumor is that Hollywood megastar Tom Cruise will perform a big stunt at the ceremony and to help pass the proverbial torch to Los Angeles for the 2024 games. And that is connecting the dots.
Well, and since the Olympics are almost over, we got to show you this clip. Yeah, that guy on your screen you saw running, he looks familiar. That is our own Larry Sprinkle carrying the Olympic torch as it passed through Charlotte on the way to Salt Lake City for the 2002 Winter Olympics. Larry still looks the same.
I know, he looks great. And we always say it's the best hair in television.
Yeah, it's the music too.
Yeah.
I don't think you hear the
Chariots
music
of
at all.
Fire needs to be playing right now.
The white. I wonder if Larry still has that white track jacket.
I meant to ask him though. I'll ask him after this.
I'm sure he does. We'll have to ask him after this show.
Sure, he did say earlier that was one of the greatest moments of his career.
Oh man,
So-
Larry's the man.
He is
Larry's
the
the man. Chris is the man.
No, you're the man.
Yeah, I know. And reminder that while the Olympics will be on WCNC Charlotte today, we still have your news headlines covered. We will be streaming live again at 2:30 p.m. and you can find that on our website, WCNC.com, or inside our WCNC mobile app. Have a great morning.